One. Hello and welcome to Live Code Happy Hour on September 25th, 2020. Is that the right date?
It is. Yes.
All right. I have got it playing in a window somewhere. I don't know where.
Can you
That's
hear
going to really bother me. Well, welcome everyone. Let's jump right into introductions. Brad.
Hey everybody, my name is Brad Tilton and I'm a developer advocate with the developer program here at ServiceNow. I've been doing ServiceNow development for about the last 12 years and been an employee for the last 4 and have been working solely with developers in the developer program since the beginning of this year, beginning-ish.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad. And I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate at ServiceNow. And I did figure out, I just closed all of Chrome. And some window was holding on to it from some other time. And I specialize in integrations, custom applications, and large-scale development deployments. And I've been at ServiceNow for 2 years and doing development on the platform for 5. See, I don't know.
I think you're at 6.
Now. I think I'm at 6. You'd think I'd remember this week over week, or that I'd even get into a routine and say the same thing over and over. I don't. You'd be wrong. So what did you bring to drink today, Brad?
All right, I'm trying something new. It's a Firestone Nitro Merlin Milk Stout. So we'll see. It was 59 this morning, which is really cold for us.
There is something interesting going on with my audio today.
So yeah, I got a stout.
We're gonna do all the things. Let us switch that. All right. Can I hear you, Brad?
Can you hear me? I introduced my beer. It is a Nitro Merlin
We're gonna fix
stout.
that. Now I can hear Brad, and I can point out mine. So this is the last beer that I have in the house, which is from one of my breweries I really like, but it's not one of my favorites from them. It's still good. It's still better than the mystery beer that I'm not even counting as having a beer. It's a sour blackberry raspberry by Edmund's Oast. We are going to get everything together today, I swear. Brad, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, today is all about Now Experience components. So we are going to we're going to work on a component that I already scaffolded and did a few things on to save us a little bit of time on the show. So we're going to finish out that component, use some of the new, we're going to use an input component, which is one of the new ones in Paris, and then we'll deploy it to an instance and use it on a landing page, hopefully. So that's the goal, is to get our component communicating with an instance and then actually deploy it to an instance, all in the next, I guess, 50-ish minutes.
Nice. So before we drop into that, we have done some Now Experience work before, previously, throughout this year so far, and we've built some components. The Now Experience is the new design system that we're using at ServiceNow, and it leverages an external component build process that you do outside the platform. We're going to highlight a little bit of that today, I'm assuming. One thing to note, if you are on Orlando, you will need the Orlando version of that. And if you're on Paris, you need the Paris version of that. They are not cross-compatible at this time. So just note that that's a thing that you'll have to deal with for now. We hope that's not the case forever, but that's what it is today. And coming up is Creatorcon and Hacktoberfest. I'm super excited about both of those things. So October 27th is going to be Creatorcon, and we are going to be highlighting some of the things that you might have missed from Knowledge 20, as well as there's some new content that will be available. And Brad and I will be, very, very highly involved, as well as some of our developer MVPs are contributing some content for the Creatorcon that's coming up next month. And during the month of October, we're also going to be doing Hacktoberfest. I'm so excited. I need my new shirt. I gotta get my Hacktoberfest shirt. I gotta get the new one. I don't know what the design is this year, but I need the new one. I gotta get the new Hacktoberfest shirt. So I just released the blog on that yesterday. It will officially, and they opened registration at hacktoberfest.com just yesterday. And so you can go there and get registered. You'll need a GitHub account as well as registering at hacktoberfest.com. And you can read a lot more details about it on the developer site blog, developer.servicenow.com. It is the top post right now, and it will be the featured post all throughout October. So get all the details there. We will be focusing on spokes, so enhancing some existing spokes. And then the other thing we'll be doing is what, Brad?
Components. Componentoberfest.
Yay!
They wouldn't let me use that name, but that's what I want to call it.
And so we will be doing some more component work in October as well. And the one we're working on today may actually turn into a repo that we contribute to and have others able to contribute to. So one of the keys with Hacktoberfest is you have to submit at least 4 non-spam pull requests to a public repo in GitHub. So it's not a really high bar. So if you're watching the show, you can do it. And we've got the tools and information for you to do that on the blog. And that is definitely enough head talking. Let's switch over to your desktop share and get building.
All right, let me share my screen here. This one. All right, you guys should be able to see this Hacktoberfest 2020 blog post. If you need more details than what Andrew provided, they are on this blog post, which you can get to by scrolling down a little bit, but we'll pin it up in the featured posts here here shortly. One of the things with Hacktoberfest is if you're not sure how to even submit a pull request, I think we're going to go through the process of doing that on a future live code happy hour during Hacktober.
That sounds like a thing that I'll do. Yes.
So I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing that. So don't fret. We're going to get there. All right. So today we're going to do some work in Artifact Manager. So we've done a lot of things in Artifact Manager on this show, but just to kind of rehash that, Artifact Manager is the system that we use to manage all of our content across the developer program. So Andrew, myself, Chuck, we manage, blogs and live coding happy hours and YouTubes and the Breakpoint podcast all get artifacts and Artifact Manager. And we have a lot of automation behind the scenes for different things. Like all of our YouTube posting for this show is all automated through Artifact Manager. And one of the things we do is we look at all the artifacts on a regular basis and, talk about, what do the next 2 weeks look like? And so that's this Artifact Manager landing page here helps us or will help us do this once we deploy it. But we'll have, we look through everything on the roadmap, and then we move dates around and assign things and things like that. So what we want to do today is
structured. Like we almost
maybe it's not as structured as that. But what I want to do today is I'd like to add I want to add a component maybe over here or somewhere on this page where I can quickly create an artifact without having to leave this page. So I think our bare minimum MVP has an input field with the name of the artifact and a submit button to create the artifact. And then I can click into it and do other things. And eventually that probably has a couple other fields on it. But for today, that's what I want. And then I want to be able to deploy it to this page in the instance.
Okay. And so we've already got you want to show what that sort of looks like with the quick view creation one?
Yes. So we have...
So just so people can visualize sort of roughly where we're going.
Yeah, we have this quick add, which right now this is if we're on an Artifact Manager call and we want to add something, we go in and just quick add an artifact. So this is a record producer where we tell it, what kind of artifact are you? What do you want to call it? And then any explanation. So eventually, I think we'll want to get closer to this. Scheduled publish or planned publish date is another field that would be helpful to have on the front end. But for today, we're just worrying about this one, what we want to call it.
Oh, and not even the type? Oh, come on. We got to have the type.
I don't. Today, we're not going to worry about the type. That's a
tomorrow problem.
Goal. That's a stretch goal. Because
type's really important. But
it is.
Okay, name first.
But I added this artifacts to triage thing in here, so it shows things without types, so we can triage it.
We're going to create a problem so we can solve it. I like it.
Right. All right. So before we get into the component, I want to highlight a couple of things here. So there is a CCW 2905 is a Creatorcon workshop from the last Creatorcon. And I think it is the single best piece of enablement content that we have around Now Experience right now, building components anyway. And I probably go back to this guidebook just about every component I work on just to look at something from the guidebook. So Andrew, along with Ben Kennedy, who was on a past Live Code Happy Hour, built this lab for knowledge, and it is very good. I
hilariously, I do the same, Brad.
Yeah.
So when I'm working on a component, I come back to here too, because it's all aggregated together for me in one spot, and I know where to find it here. Because
and there's some really nice stuff in here, like there is a lot of extra things in here, like this is why you do this, or this is something from ES6 that you may not be familiar with. So there's some good stuff in here. The other good resource to call out is on our ServiceNow Dev Program GitHub. There is a Now Experience component examples and a repo here, and there are some pretty good examples in here. Some of these are built kind of differently, so you don't get the exact same, example and use case on each of them. So this is something to look through. This is also something that I tend to come kind of look through. These are all components that our ServiceNow engineers have built. So they're also helpful to come look at. All right, now that we have been through all of that, let's go ahead and look at our component here. So let me move this into the right spot. I think we just want to be down a little. All right. All right, so I have done a little bit of pre-work here. And what I have done is I have scaffolded our component here. And then I also went in and separated some things out. So this is one of the things that Creatorcon
Hey,
Workshop.
Brad,
Yeah.
there's no way that anybody's going to be able to read that stuff. Yeah,
that's a great point. Let's zoom in.
So you clearly have already scaffolded a component and not gotten too much further, it looks like. But you did break it up into some. Is there a change, or did you do this yourself? Break it up into action handlers?
No, I did this myself.
Okay.
So I went in and broke it up. Basically, I broke it up into actions, the view, and then the main component here. So I did that in order. There's a few reasons. Once these components get kind of long, it's hard to follow when it's all in one file. And then it also makes error handling a little better once they get kind of long, because if your component throws an error, not that I've ever built a component that's thrown an error, it helps a little bit telling you, which JS file that error was in. So
somebody asked, how come you don't have a ServiceNow theme for your BS code?
Yeah, I just I don't have a ServiceNow theme for this. You have
a theme when you use the BS Code extension for doing ServiceNow development.
When I have the extension, I have the little green color. All right, so what I want to do first is let's just look at this component. Okay. This is where we're creating the custom element. There's a couple of things that I want to call out here. So we're calling this action handlers. We're calling the action handlers file, and then we are referencing it from the create custom element. And then I also have a state that I have set as an initial state, which if we go over and look at the view, I am grabbing that message from the state, and then I'm just showing that in the div tags. So this was part of a way for me to know, after I had separated all of those things out, that they actually work together.
And that's one thing that I'm actually going to put in an enhancement for, is I'd really like our scaffold to actually have a message in, like, when you first scaffold a project, it creates a empty shell of a component that you can render, and it renders a nice blank white screen. And it really could render something like, your component was scaffolded properly, or something useful, anything really. So, yeah. But when you're doing it yourself in your default created index.js file, you can just put in the main divs there, any text, and then it'll render. But that's just something that I always do when I'm doing it. So I suspect others will, and maybe we can actually get it to do that all the time. That would be great. So cool. So I assume that then that means that you've broken it up and tested it and it works.
It does, but we should probably go ahead and just test that it still works. So I'm going to do now CLI develop, and then the --O will open it in a tab for me. So I don't have,
which is pretty handy dandy.
Command click. So it's going to run. So what we're going to do after this is we're going to have to install the, there we go. Let's build the component.
Yay, let's build the
Yay.
component.
It looks so
Nice.
good.
All right, victory was had. Everybody can go home now.
All right, I'm going to take a drink.
I totally
All right,
missed what
so
beer you were drinking today, and it looks really good. What was it?
it's a Firestone Nitro Merlin Milk Stout.
Oh man, that looks great. Mm.
It is pretty good. I had a good, real hard pour. Nobody got to see that, but it looked nice.
Okay,
All
so
right.
let's build the component.
So,
I can take instructions. It's telling me, let's build it. Let's go.
let's build a component. So we are going to use, we're going to use,
goodness, we're going to the developer site. That's one of my favorite sites
of components here. I think that should be big enough to read still.
Yeah, I think it's big enough.
All right. So in Paris, you can now see that there's this release switcher up here where you have Paris, and we got some more components in Paris, and I actually wrote a blog. Was it Wednesday? It seems longer ago than that, but I think it was published on Wednesday. That
the
went
published
through
date's
some
not
of the
always the release
some of the new
date.
components. This is just the developer site. Somebody asked about the, so if you go to the developer site, developer.servicenow.com, and then click into reference and then components, that's where we are here. And so you'll get all of the new ones. One of the new ones that we're going to use is the input component. And you can, so this is this is just an input component, but it has a lot of extra stuff on it. So you've got the label here. There are some behind the scenes things that happen. And then if we scroll down, if we go into usage, it'll tell us, we've got all sorts of things we can add to it. There's some messaging that we can add to it. So it's a pretty nice component where the other thing that it's going to do is automatically fire some actions along with it that we're going to be able to then consume and do some things with.
Are they detailed?
They are detailed in the API page. And if you haven't clicked through these component pages, there's a ton of info. And I was honestly shocked the first time I went into these pages, especially the usage section, because, so the API has a lot of stuff in here, but some of the usage is pretty good in that there's a lot of, if we get down here, there's a lot of
a small amount of usage information there.
Yeah, like, hey, we don't think you should use a placeholder. We think you should use the label, or don't use the placeholder as the label. Use the label as the label and the placeholder for what you want the value to be. So there's just a lot of guidelines in here that is probably atypical of our documentation. I'll just say it. The components have a lot more like, here's your good practices for actually using the stuff,
which is great. And all of this stuff, I have a little more insight than I used to on this. All of this stuff is maintained very lovingly and caringly by some fantastic people. So there's a lot of work that goes into making this page cool. So you're going to go install.
I'm going to install it.
So you're going to cancel your develop and install that package. All right.
So once it installs, well, I guess we can do that now. So we're going to say, we're going to look at, where do we do this already?
So you're going to import.
It's just import. Yeah. Import. Oh, and I think because it's still installing, it's not going to autocomplete for me. But I know what it is because I copied it.
Yeah, you copy and paste.
All right. So now we have this ServiceNow input. And so I have it in here. I'm going to save. We've got it installed. But
in order to leverage it, if you go back to this component playground here, you can get the code for how to use it. And you can even configure it with this configuration tool on the side. And if you can see down near the bottom, it's actually adjusting that code box with what you have adjusted in the properties on the side there. So when you toggle things like required or optional or disabled or things, those are added to that code box, and allows for you to just copy that and then dump it right into your component building.
So like the helper content here, it's this is going to be the title of your artifact. And you can see that it's giving me the helper content. And now I have this helper content. So this looks good to me. We don't need anything all that crazy. So I'm going to copy the code for it. And we're going to go back. And I'm going to leave my message in there. But I'm going to put it and a paragraph tag there.
All right.
Can I do this to make it easier to?
Sure. Why not?
I don't think I have to pass any of the stuff. Helper content. Somebody asked if the helper content is what the screen reader should see. No, the helper content is actually a little pop-up. So if I type in some helper content, you get the icon now. And if I click on it, you get the helper content here. Do we get I think the label is going to end up being...
The screen reader should read the label.
Yeah, but we can, once we render this, we can look at the, we can look at it. All right, so we should have this show up now. So I'm going to save and we'll run the develop again. Did we get there? No, we're not there yet.
Running.
There we are. We are still thinking. Oh, it's still going.
It's still thinking. Wow.
Maybe my laptop is not like it.
Yay.
Hey, there we are. All right, so we have that. If I click into this, we have the artifact. If I take a look at it, we have, well, that's the, what is the, in the input, we've got the name. Is the name with the screen reader? I never remember. Anyway, it shows up. All right. So what we want now is we want a
We're done,
button.
right? We've got an input field.
We have an input field and it rendered correctly. So we're going to do a few things. So we're going to need to install our button, which I believe is going. It's going to be add ServiceNow. I'm pretty sure it's called Now Button.
Oh no, you canceled the thing again?
I know. And then we'll put in Now Button. And I'm going to kill our message here.
And so I'm assuming this button is for submitting.
Yes, it's going to be a submit button. So let's come in here and
take a look at the Now button.
Grab a button. This button looks fine to me.
And so this is, especially on buttons, I will highly encourage folks to use the usage page to understand how to leverage buttons properly. In this case, this is going to be a primary button because that is the primary action in our thing. And that's the default when you load this, but it should not be the default for you to just use a button. Not all buttons should be primary. So
all right, ours is going to be primary. So I have grabbed that, and we will put it there. Okay. So I saved it, and then I believe we're also going to need to install the HTTP effect. So I'm just going to do that now.
that seems reasonable.
Where is it now? HTTP effect. So let's look at the HTTP effect. That's under API reference. UI effect HTTP. Oh yeah. All right. So while that is building, we have our view. This is what we're going to want it to look like, assuming that our button loads. And right now, we want to do a couple of things. So one of the things that I want to do, I took away the value here, but we want to track the value of this field. And so I'm going to call this artifact title. And then we're going to grab it from the state. I think this is going to work. And then we're going to set an initial state for artifact title. And we're just going to make it nothing. All right, so we're going to save. And then now, so what we've done is set the value in this input to this new state we've added.
Okay.
And what we want to do is when somebody types into this field and then tabs out of it, we want to use the action that this now input box is going to throw and add that to the state. I think. So let's look at the API here and see what that is going to throw. So if I come into components and we look at the input, it's going to say I have these 3 actions. So if we get down there, I've got this now input action. So I think this is going to be every time you enter something into the field, this action is going to get dispatched. Then we have one where it's going to be invalid. But I think what we want is this now input value set, where it's going to dispatch this action when I tab out of the field, basically. And it's going to tell us that the value that it's giving us is the value of that field. So I'm going to come in and paste this into my action handlers.
Phil's over in the chat asking some deep depth questions, and it's Friday and I'm trying to eat into the weekend over here. And so calm down, Phil. No.
Yeah. So
excellent questions.
Yeah, they are really good questions. I think there is so we can embed components, and there's definitely a way where you could just grab all of the fields from a form, which is what Workspace is doing. And I think once we get further in our releases, there will be more components that do more and bigger stuff than these core foundational components that are in there now. So I think my hope would be that you don't have to build a form all on your own in the future, but that's what we're doing here. All right, so we have this now input value set. And what does this need to look at?
And so you got that from the API details page of the now
Yes.
input.
This is one of the 3 actions that the now input field throws, is this now input value set. So I just copied and pasted that. But where? We need to do something now. I'm going to have to go cheat and look at something that I did a while ago. Because I'm a developer. I never remember anything. All right.
I've done that before. Let me go see how I did it last time.
So what I'm going to have to do is, I think I need to pass coeffects here. And then we are going to use some more object destructuring.
Nom, nom, nom.
And we want the value. So this is, we know that the value is being passed in. Oh, James is here.
James showed up. Watch out, everybody.
Oh, he's right. Yeah.
Good call, James.
I feel James
good.
is like a safety blanket here. I know he'll be able to fix us if something goes wrong. So I just want to make sure that we get this value. Let's call it
field value. Yum yum.
All right. Did I save everything? Ooh, safety blanket and positive reinforcement from James. I like it. I already have a couple of these windows open, so let's just develop. Hopefully we go a little faster this time. %. So after we do this, if we have gotten the correct value, then we have to do something with the value. So we're going to have to update the state with this value, and then we can say, hey, on the click of the button, send the state over to our server. All right, did this work? It did not work.
Not found.
Oh no, well, that didn't work, which I think I know why. But if I say test, nope. All right. Field value undefined.
Okay.
And something went wrong with our, I think I just have the syntax wrong here. Is it artifact title?
How do you have the syntax wrong? I thought you
No,
copied
that looks right.
I thought you copied that.
What did I do wrong? Value. Oh, this is how the syntax is wrong. There's no quotes.
No quotes.
So there we go. At least we don't have that in there. And then does this work? This still doesn't work.
Okay.
So we know that it is firing something. Coeffects. I guess we could just state.
Do state. Yeah. Do state or coeffects or both.
We probably need to do like a.
Yeah. JSON parse. Strings.
All right.
All right.
So field value, artifact title.
Title is nothing.
Let's build the component properties.
So you were expecting artifact title to have stuff in it, and it doesn't. So that's why it's.
Oh, you know
working.
what? This is what is wrong. I don't want the state. I want the action. Yeah, so there's a payload for this action. Yeah. I want the action here. And then we want the value from action.payload. Where are you, console? Hey, there it is.
Hey, look at you.
So I was looking in the state instead of the action. All right. So now that
that makes some sense that it should be in the action. State's important too, but
so we're going to need the state. I think we need the state and update state, or maybe just update state. All right, so we have the value here.
Okay.
So let's leave the log statement. And then we want, what do we call? We called this artifact title. So we want to update that.
Okay.
And then we're going to do an update state with, can I paste? Yeah, with the artifact title. And I think here we can say, because I have the state, well, let's, all right, so let's do this. So I think this is going to work. So we're going to also do the button here.
Ooh. Getting ambitious. I like it.
I know.
Brad's getting warmed up.
It scares me a little bit. So we've got the button here. So let's look at the button actions. So there's only one. So if I get clicked, I throw this action.
I do the thing.
That makes sense.
I mean, it seems about the only thing a button should do.
So let's paste
I
it
get
in
clicked.
there. And then I think I could have done this at the beginning and then not have to do it twice, but we're in the business of just making things work right now. All right, so now I have the action, the state, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that so new input value. We want to make sure the state was updated with it.
Log when the button's clicked. Okay.
Yes. So if I can get the right value here, then I can send this value to the server.
Okay.
So I don't have to do that. Send me to the server.
Send me to the server.
All right, so this is right. That's our existing message. And Hey, it worked.
Hey.
All right.
Well,
So send me to
that's
the
looking
server.
fairly promising for your MVP there, Brad. Is
I
you now
think
have a thing that is ready to be sent.
we have 14 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get this in the instance, but hopefully we at least can use the HTTP effect.
You just need to use you just need to create a record with this one field populated.
So
I have faith in you. So now you're going to go to the REST API Explorer, to the table API, right, for
I am.
Artifact Manager, and then
Yeah.
you're going to simulate what you're about to do here.
That's right.
And you can see how and what it needs. So we're going to.
Where's my? Oh, I need to post it.
Yeah, we're going to create one of these.
Send.
Yeah.
Artifact. All right, and then let's
down
add
here we're going to add a field for short description.
What is it? It's a title.
Title.
Yeah, and then I just say created from Explorer.
All right.
And then we will send that.
And so this is creating a record on our target table. It's 201.
So that looks like it worked, and it was the short description field. We just renamed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave this like that so I can copy and paste some things.
Okay.
And I am going to import the create
HTTP effect.
HTTP effect. And it's here.
Look at that.
And then on the button click, I am going to, oh, you know what we're going to do? Let's go steal it from the
new action.
Yeah. I am. I'm going to, yeah, I guess we could separate that.
Or are you just going to send it?
I was going to just send it, but I think I should dispatch a new action. So our action's going to be create artifact.
Okay.
And then let's look at here. Nope. So I like to come back and this is it.
Yep.
All right. So we want.
You copy that whole thing and change the get
to
a post, and you'll be pretty close.
Right,
table.
So we're gonna say post
table
and
to
then
artifact.
We're gonna go.
Yeah. Now we're sending it to the correct table, and we're not going to send any fields or queries.
So we are going to send, there's a data param, I think is what we call it. And then, so I believe we're over here. So if we look at the HTTP effect reference, yes, the data param is where I can send the body.
Okay. And that should be able to just be copied right from that.
Yeah, so we'll do the body from in here. I think I can just say,
I would call it something other than data, just because.
I think, we're going to do it from inside the HTTP effect call, I think. So let's go back and look at, what does the dispatch do? Yeah, so we're going to dispatch the action and then we'll do it from in here.
Okay.
And then, instead of that, we're going to call it data. Don't need any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you want
And then this is going to be.
That's going to be short description, short underscore description. Yeah.
And then this is going to be our value, which is state artifact title.
Artifact title. Yeah. And you need to change your dispatch.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks.
And then
I think you've got an extra right parentheses on line 18. Nope. That's for the end of dispatch. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. It's very possible that I have an extra parenthesis somewhere. So then we're just going to do the artifact succeeded. I guess I don't need, we're just going to console log here.
Okay. Success.
All right, so we are saved.
You're running close to the wire.
I know. So we think this might work. There we go. Where is my render? You are here. Oh, did not. Create HTTP effect is not defined. Oh, I think I have to. Do I do that differently? Yes.
Yes.
Let's look at how it's done in this exercise. Oh, yes. I have to do this. I know I'm moving fast for everybody, but
you're fine.
I want it to work.
I think you're fine.
It's quarter. We could just pause it, right?
You can go back and slow it down if you need. It's fine.
All right. Oh, there's no.
Hey, at least we're not getting errors anymore. That's nice.
From the component. Oh. Component action type is dispatched. Dispatch is not defined. Yeah, I think we need dispatch up here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back and look at our action types. I think dispatch is an action type.
is defined in there.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, so we need it from the coeffects.
Okay.
It's a dispatch. So where do we dispatch from here? So we're not even using those, but that's all right.
Yeah, and it feels like, meh, you're not using them. Why are they there? And then we're like, because we might. We're not here to clean up yet.
What I should have done is done the coeffects once, and so then we can just use its properties later on, but I didn't. So we saved. And created from component. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Success. So the component thinks it worked.
The component thinks it worked. Let's go to the instance and see if the instance think it worked.
Look. Why don't we look here?
Ooh, because it should be undefined. Should be untriaged.
Oh, it should be, but I'm not convinced that I created that correctly.
There's probably a default.
There may be. Type. Let's go all artifacts.
Let's sort by created or updated. You got updated. You could have sorted.
Oh, I do have updated. Sure.
I wish the default was E to A. When you
hey, there's my misspelled component.
Well.
Oh, type app. That's the default.
I am declaring victory.
Should we deploy it to the instance? I think we can maybe do it.
I mean, just hitting deploy will do it. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're deploying.
As long as you're auth, which you have to be in order to have done the post. So
attempting.
So now it's doing the build process and getting it ready for the instance.
All right, and now let's
That was some
go
lovely
to
green messages saying succeeded.
let's go
So you
to
should be
landing
able to just go
pages.
to Syscope and like see that it's there.
It is this one,
Okay. So
AM quick add.
click it and then drill into that, and just so you can show that the stuff is in there.
All right, I want to add it to UI Builder first.
Oh,
Then we can do that.
you're driving. You get to do it the order you like. It's not like
Oh,
I
I didn't
asked you to close the
change.
window.
I didn't change. I'm gonna
Its
ignore that one.
name.
I didn't change its name, but what if I put it here?
Ooh,
There it is. And
I
then
I think that's all kinds of victory right there.
yeah. So let's save.
And re-render our workspace. Man. Whew. Was getting a little iffy there, Brad.
All right, let's say new from workspace. Oh, and one of the things that we didn't do, but we should do something where if we have success, then it clears out this
That does
value.
seem reasonable.
So let's go back and look at artifact. Where are you? All artifacts. And it worked.
Workspace.
Hey.
Nice.
Should we click in and look at it? Or are we?
Oh, I mean, it's clearly in there.
Yeah. So it does, when you scaffold these components, it does create you a scope based on the name that you choose. So just something to be aware of when you are choosing your name.
But yeah, you'll see that it created 4 application files down there at the bottom.
Yep.
If you don't see all of those, one of the reasons, like if you don't see it in UI Builder and you come here and you see some of them that were pushed when you did your push, but you don't see 4 of them, most likely what you have not put in the extra bits to make it render in UI Builder, because that's an extra step.
It
Brad
does
has
it.
already done that today.
It does it automatically now. I did not touch it. Yeah.
Oh, look
so
at that.
If we can go down and look, is it
The now CLI?
this
Nope,
one?
it's in the,
yeah. So this is what you used to be able to have to come back in and add this, but it automatically adds it now when it creates your component. And that's why I had that my component label when we dragged it in UI Builder. So a good step would be to come in and change it, because it's always going to create it with my component. So you want to change this to something that whoever is using UI Builder understands and knows what it does.
Nice. All right. I think it's a good time to stop the screen share, Brad.
All right. I will stop the screen share. Yes, we were on the Paris release from Dirk. So I'm on now CLI 18, and then we were on a Paris instance.
Absolutely. So that was a lot of fun, Brad. Thanks so much for getting us through that. And
yeah,
that's a great feature. We need it. Now we just need to set the type. that'll be for later. But yeah, I think with the name and the type, that's all we really need for that quick add feature.
Yeah.
And we'll be cooking with Crisco with that new component and make that workflow actually useful to us. So I'm getting kind of excited that workspace is actually getting a little useful. Add a few more things and might actually like work there. It'd be pretty great. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Is we actually want to work there. I think we covered all the updates and things before we started the screen share. So if you jumped in late, our news and things are sort of earlier in the show than they normally are here at the end. And anything else you want to share before we rate our drinks, Brad?
So we'll share the links that I mentioned, that workshop, our repo, and then I'll put in a link to the reference components as well in the description of this. But yeah, Hacktoberfest, there's really no reason not to come in and make 4 pull requests and you get a t-shirt. So it's worth doing. So yeah, participate in Hacktoberfest and yeah.
That'll be great. So, how was your beverage today? Was it as good as it looked? I think it's a 4.25 based on appearance. How
Mm.
was the actual?
It looks good. I've been drinking so many barrel aged stouts on the show previously that those are my favorite.
Those are better
So
than these.
it's
So
automatically a little less, but it was a pretty solid stout. I would give it a 4.25 based on our success factor today.
nice little success. I mean, those barrel aged stouts, like it's hard to compete against
Yeah.
those. They're so good. They're especially for you and me. We really like those. So my Edmund's O's, this is definitely their weakest one I've had of theirs. It's a 3.75. But I'll roll it up to a 4 for today because we had success, and I didn't think we'd actually get the HTTP effect and everything working, given where we were 15 minutes before the end. So that was great. And as Brad said, we will get those links into the description below. And please join us for Hacktoberfest, including, if you've got an idea for something and you want us to, come contribute, put it in the comments on the blog, or reach out on one of the many ways you can reach us, social media, or the blog directly, or community, or however. Raise a smoke signal, we'll get it.
Yeah, and we'll take this component. I think we'll want to make this part of Hacktoberfest, maybe. I mean, it's kind of specific to our artifact manager, but if not,
Sure,
we'll
but
do something similar to it, but more generic,
yeah.
just so that you have something to reference if this show was helpful.
Thanks, everybody, and y'all have a most wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.